Are you someone who wants to find a partner, a forever partner, to build a life with? A life full of love, loyalty, and anchored in truth. So you can build a strong family. And before you surrender to all this, you would like your odds to be better than the coin flip odds you have now with a 50% divorce. I do feel it is possible to select a partner, a forever partner, in a better way, especially if you push aside these 5 love myths. My name is Annemiek and I love teaching people about how to create a loving and loyal marriage that is anchored in truth. The first point, lust. Feeling lust is very important when you meet someone. I definitely agree that feeling sexual attraction to someone is very important. However, what we see is that people want to be knocked off their feet right away on the first date when they meet someone. And I feel that real attraction, and there's a difference between lust and being really attracted to someone. Lust is a feeling that describes something that is very instant, very high strung, and very in the moment. It is also often very much anchored in fantasy instead of reality. It's often a projection, and it is a sign that you want to use the other person for something you feel inside yourself. The reason why I use the strong word use the other person is because you don't know the other person. So the chance that you are really wanting to give something other than sexual acts, of course, to the other person is almost zilch because you don't know who it is. And this is not that I mean that sexual attraction, feeling sexual attraction is bad. It's very good, and in a marriage it should be represented well, of course. I feel like lust and strong attraction are different things. Lust leads you to the back of a car, and strong attraction leads you to the aisle. Lust is something that leads you to secrecy, and strong attraction leads you to wanting to be in the limelight together, showing the other person, look, we are together. So lust is more like dark, secret seeking, short-lived, a lot of focused on what you want from the other. And sexual attraction is much more a two-way street, and it is giving, and it is focused on the other person's character. So having said that, it also means that, in my opinion, you should look for an initial feeling of attraction, but it doesn't have to be the kind of attraction that knocks you off your feet. There should be enough that it makes you interested in the other person. It makes you want to know them, get to know them better. And then you can build and build and build. And I believe that's also what you do in a marriage. You build and you invest in each other, you support each other, and from that, feelings of attraction will grow and grow and grow, because you know the other person has my back. And you feel very safe with each other, you feel very happy with each other. And from there, the feelings can grow, and they are based in reality. They are not based in fantasy, they are not based in projection. So that's the first one. Flirting is just innocent part of the game. Let me define flirting. What I see as the flirting that shouldn't be part of a loyal marriage is where you create a sexual tension with the other person that implies that you are sexually interested in them, and that things could evolve from anything. So there's the innocent kind of just being yourself, having charisma, being the bundle of joy you are, and just talking with people you like and laughing. All of that, of course, is just part of your personality, part of who you are, and that is just wonderful. And just enjoy that part of yourself. But with flirting, it's different. It's creating intentionally some sort of sexual promise with another person. And I feel that if you want to have a strong foundation for a marriage, these little things, which are not very important in the end, are things you should consider, is this beneficial for my marriage? And one of the best rules you can have for yourself, I feel, is would I have the exact same behavior if my partner were standing next to me? If it's not, and you wouldn't do it when your partner was next to you, then often it means that this behavior will limit the intimacy between the two of you. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it is a little bit a practice in micro transgressions of the loyalty you have with each other. And in my opinion, you can do two things. You can create a structure where you just don't have these, even though they are tiny bad habits, and you just have, you practice yourself in having good habits that make the foundation of your marriage stronger and stronger and stronger. Because everything you practice becomes stronger. And if you make it a habit of just flirting with everyone you just like the look of, then it's also a muscle you are making stronger and stronger. The muscle of just having micro transgressions of the loyalty between you and your partner. And also there's a big flip side, which is also a very great influence on your marriage, is what would happen if you decide together to project your sexual energy on your partner. Just 100%. You are it for me. And if you fantasize, you decide you are going to practice fantasizing about your husband or your wife, and you make that muscle stronger. So you learn to be devoted to each other, and in every single way you can imagine. Also, that will become stronger and stronger. And I believe that this is felt by the other person. This is how you practice yourself in being loyal, and also seeing the other person as that what you want in life, and seeing them as the object of your attraction, and practicing that. The third one, monogamy is not natural. Well, we can have a lot of discussions about the mechanisms in our brain and in our biology that are proof that we are monogamous or we are not monogamous. We know we have a pair bonding. Our brains are wired for pair bonding. Helen Fisher has done a lot of research on this, and her conclusion is that we are made for pair bonding for 5 to 7 years, just to have our children grown up to a certain age. And I feel that we are still witnessing a generation who was raised with healthy monogamous examples, and pair bonding for life is really possible. So the last people we see in the wild are grandparents who are still able to pair bond for life, who love each other and stay together until they die. It is possible, we know it's possible. And maybe monogamy is not natural in the sense that we will always notice other people being sexually attractive. But I feel that self-discipline is also not natural. It's a learned skill, but it doesn't mean that it's bad or we shouldn't have self-discipline. So I feel having self-discipline, especially in a marriage, is a good thing. Because you're not only protecting your marriage, you're also protecting the living environment of your children and your children's children. So you have a big responsibility. And the price you pay is being monogamous. And I'm saying the price you pay, and I feel like it's such a negative wording of what I actually mean. Because in truly being monogamous, truly choosing your other partner, there are so many rewards in that. The thing is, culture teaches us that monogamy is like a straitjacket, and you have to give up all sorts of things, but then you will have a stable relationship. But stable is also boring. And I feel that it doesn't have to be like that. If you truly focus your sexual energy on your partner, if you truly decide to be each other's best friends, if you choose well and not impulsively based on pure attraction or lust, then you can build and grow for a lifetime. And everything will get better and deeper. And this is also what science tells us, that although marriage is often portrayed as just being a piece of paper, what can it change? We see that people who are in the same situation, people who are living together and people who are married, maybe they have the same amount of children, they live in the same country. We see that people who are married are better off in all ways. They are more affluent, they have less physical violence in the house, the children are healthier and happier, you live longer. So even the situation can be the same. The fact that there's a marriage surrounding the other couple, it means there's a lot of benefit in it. And I feel that it has to do with commitments and everything that goes with it, loyalty. And many people would live with someone they would not marry, because the standard to live with someone is for many people much lower than the standard they have to marry someone. And I will also get back to that in the last point. Yes, the next point, casual sex is freedom. I've talked about casual sex a lot in my episodes, and that is because I am just dumbfounded by what the sexual liberation has brought us. We have more STDs, we have more abortions, we have more divorce, we have more depression, we have more people not in a relationship. We have, well, it's not the land of milk and honey that was projected to us. And I feel that if we look at the data, we see that casual sex, it has a few disadvantages. One of them being that a research showed that 80% of the women who have casual sex feel more empty, more lonely afterwards. And for guys, this is 70%. So I feel that we are being trained to seek pleasure. Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Pleasure is what rules us. Pleasure is the king. We should always feel pleasure. And everything that's more real, in my opinion, takes time and takes effort. It is much harder to date someone and then to really take your time just by being friends to see if you're compatible. And even though you feel attraction, to not instantly go for it, but just take your time to feel if this is true, what you are, and test it in reality, test it over time. Also, it is portrayed to us that casual sex comes without a price. You can just have many encounters, and then one day you will meet Mr. or Mrs. Right, and you will just be able to stop and have a monogamous relationship with this person. But what we see in reality is that having many partners trains you in detachment, and everything you do often you get good at. So when we reach Mrs. Right or Mr. Right, then we see a lot that it is very hard to not have this radar on all the time, to look for the next, and to be really happy and satisfied with having this one person forever, especially after the first drugs of infatuation go down, and to then be satisfied with what you have is much harder when you have had a lot of encounters, because you have trained yourself in detachment. Also, we are often trained to see our 20s as a time to experiment and to lose our wild hairs, because we will be married and contained for a long time, so we should take it when we can. And I feel like what we see now is that people do that, and especially women, they just discard great guys in their 20s because they're like, yeah, I can get anyone I want at this age. So then they're like 30, and then it also says, the data says that when you don't have your first child when you're 30, you have 50% less chance of ever having a child. So even though at 30 you can still have children, it's already, the dating pool has become smaller, and there are many reasons that a lot of women just feel rushed when they're 35 or older. And yeah, sometimes they look back and they think, wow, I wish. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with getting married young. You have a lot of energy, and we see that it creates, especially in women, sometimes girl bosses, because you have so much energy, you have so much willpower at this age. And I feel that it would be so perfect if you can, to already have a family and have children, so you can have all this energy and use it for yourself and your family to build something, and then you can benefit from it in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, and you can grow and use it instead of working for a boss in the prime of your life. And then boss, it is so different than having a husband and having a family, because your husband will be with you for the rest of your life, and your boss can just let you go in the blink of an eye, because there's no loyalty. There's just, of course, there can be nice bosses, but you know what I mean. And the last one, that is the one that blew me away, truly blew me away, and that is cohabitation, or living together. This is so ingrained in our new generation, and I think most of my generation believes that this is the very best way to not get divorced. First, you live together to see if you are compatible. That's what I thought. I have lived together, and then I just did a deep dive in the research about cohabitation versus marriage. And then I saw that cohabitation hardly ever leads to marriage. And people who get married without cohabitation have much higher success rates in their marriage. There is less physical abuse in people who get married without cohabitation. And I was just dumbfounded. I couldn't explain it. And then I did a lot of research and I found that there's this scientist who really specialized in cohabitation. And he has a website and a blog and a book, I think. And he is also emphasizing the importance of deciding. Because what I said before, many people would much easier live together with someone than that they would marry someone. The standard is much lower for cohabitation than it is for marriage. And the biggest blind spot, the sliding versus deciding guy says the biggest blind spot we have as human beings is that it is much, much, much harder to break up with someone after you have already lived with them. The thing is, that's the sliding part, because what we don't see up front is that first it's very ambiguous. Well, I'm here already 3-4 days a week, so, now it's 5, now it says 6, my lease is up, okay, we'll live together. So it's very ambiguous process often without a lot of determination. And what you see is that when you really decide something, like marriage, then it changes your brain in how you want to go about this, how you want it to succeed. And if it's just an ambiguous sliding process, then you will often find out that it's much harder to get out, much harder than you thought, because it's all the little things that build up. First, you just live together. Then you buy some furniture together. Hey, let's get a pet. Hey, let's get new appliances. And all your friends are getting woven together. And it just builds up, builds up, builds up. And then everyone is seeing you as a couple already, or even if you don't know if you want to get married. The whole world sees you like you're together. So the question you get often is probably, when will the children come, etc., etc. And being in this situation, people are very much like, I don't want pain and I do want pleasure. So they can also slide in having children and slide in adding another year with each other. And what we see is there are very different reasons people live together. For women, it's mostly, they see it as a step up to marriage. And for guys, it's the opposite. It is having the chance to get all the benefits of being together, but not having to decide about wanting to get married. So for a guy, it's easier to postpone. And when I think of the little movie I saw of Steve Harvey one day.
Ladies, I'm gonna let you in on a male secret. Something you've never heard before. A man knows in 6 months if you're the one.
Oh!
I got news for you. We know in 6 months is you the one. We're not gonna tell you this, but we know in 6 months is you the one.
So I feel that if you look at people who live together, and if most guys know within, let's say, half a year if they want to marry a woman, then it looks to me like many people are together who should not be together, in the sense that they are not 100% fully committed. They are not seeing the other person as marriage material. And you tread on dangerous terrain, and that is because you are not only protecting your relationship, but you're also protecting your children. And it's easier to just because it is expected to just have children and stay together, even if you're not convinced this is the person you want to marry. So that is what I feel, that freedom is not that you can be like a tumbleweed blowing in the wind. No restrictions, no rules. And that is, I feel, the sign of our time. Everything must be ambiguous. And that is why we are always searching for clarity. Are we having a relationship? Is this a date? And even when we live together, sometimes the relationship status has not been established yet. So that's what I would like to say about these 5 things I just mentioned. And I'm not saying that they necessarily are bad. I just don't think that they are beneficial to building a long, loyal, committed and fun-filled, light-hearted marriage with the man or woman of your dreams. If you like this kind of content, I would like to invite you to join my group, my community, and please like and subscribe and share. Thank you so much. Bye bye.